Today I want to tell you about the place that our Russian writer Dostoevsky takes in modern Japanese math culture on the example of the anime genre. Dostoevsky's novels are extremely popular in modern Japan. The 8th translation of the Brothers Karamazov has sold 1 million copies, which, according to Lyudmila Ivanovna Soroskina, is unprecedented even for Russia of the 19th century and the Soviet Union. The novels Demons and Crime and Punishment also became bestsellers among Japanese youth. Films and TV series are shot on them, musicals are staged, anime and manga are drawn. That is from the point of view of inhabitants of the land of the rising sun. They think Dostoevsky and Japanese modern culture is not only possible but also obvious. Before we deal with anime, I want to say a few words about films and TV adaptations. Akira Kurosawa is probably the most famous Japanese director who inspired many Western creators. He gained worldwide fame for his films about samurai, but also he is a big fan of Russian classics. In 1951, his film The Idiot, based on Dostoevsky's novel of the same name, was released. He said, "From the early age, I fell in love with Russian literature, but I realized that Dostoevsky was the best. And I thought for a long time that I could make a wonderful film out of his book. Dostoevsky is still my favorite writer, and he is the only one, as I believe, who wrote truthfully about human existence." From TV adaptations, it is worth noting a good Japanese version of the Brothers Karamazov and the adaptation of the manga Crime and Punishment, a falsified novel. As you all know, I guess, anime is animation created in Japan. Created in this case means not as much produced as developed. The anime can be created in Korea or Taiwan, for example, but the script and design should be cut out in Japan. Paris 7 believes that is fundamentally important that the anime was invented by Japanese. Thus, the purity of the genre is observed, so the anime can be distinguished from any other animation. As we say from the first frame, it seems that Dostoevsky and anime are two incomparable culture phenomena. Dostoevsky's legacy belongs to the classical culture of the 19th century, and anime belongs to the mass. Dostoevsky is European Western author who is far from the peculiar Japanese culture, but still the phenomenon of the presence of the elements of Dostoevsky's works and his figure in the anime exists and represents quite widely. The forms of Dostoevsky's presence in anime can be divided in 5 categories. The first one, the use of motifs and plot situations from Dostoevsky's novels. For example, in the anime Death Note, the main character Yagami writes, like Rodeo Raskolnikov commits murders, guided by the ideas of creating a new world by destroying criminals, as if putting into practice the ideas of Shigalov and Yamshin. In addition, in the anime, there is a motive of duality and detective basis, its own delivery, and also problems of power and permissiveness are raised. The second one, the presence of characters who bear the names of Dostoevsky's heroes in the anime. For instance, in the fifth series of the anime noir, a Russian character appears, a former KGB agent, Yuri Nazarov, who supervised the execution of Tashkent people, a fictional ethnic minority. To emphasize the national flavor of the story and its tragedy, Yuri Nazarov's Snow White cat with blue eyes, nicknamed Knyaz Myshkin, is represented in the story. The anime explains Knyaz Myshkin is the main character of Dostoevsky's novel, The Idiot. He is a symbol of her immaculate soul. And this one again proves that Nazarov repented of his deeds and leads a righteous life. Can you show the video, please?
Так как же тебя зовут?
Князь Мышкин.
Князь Мышкин?
Да, князь Мышкин. Так его зовут.
Говоришь на разных языках, однако ты совершенно не знакома с русской литературой.
С русской литературой?
Князь Мышкин, главный герой романа Достоевского «Идиот». Человек с невинной и чистой душой.
Невинной и чистой душой.
Mention of the names of Dostoevsky's works. Unknown characters often read books of Russian classics or retell them to each other. For example, in the anime Thunderstorm, directed by Simba Kiyuki, the main character Hajime tells the contents of a book whose title he has forgotten. Arasi says it's Crime and Punishment, and together all the characters shout Dostoevsky. The first one, the appearance of Dostoevsky as anime hero. In the anime series The Great of Stray Dogs, most of the characters are named after famous writers. The only character named after the Russian writer is Fyodor Dostoevsky, the head of the criminal underground organization Rats of the Dead House. Это пасхалка. Despite the fact that the character had nothing in common with the prototypes, it is symptomatic that Dostoevsky was chosen from all the Russian authors. The last but not the least, transformations of plots under the influence of Dostoevsky's ideas in the adaptations of works by other authors. So the novel Kolbe by Tagawa Rinosuke was filmed in the anime series Class Stories. The short story of the novel has been significantly expanded. In particular, the image of the robber Kandata has been worked out. This character is similar to Raskolnikov because he calls himself His Majesty Kandata and acts according to his laws. And he is let down by an innocently murdered woman like Dostoevsky's hero. Hell in the anime is far from what is depicted in Akutagawa's novella, but it is close to Dostoevsky's understanding of the underworld. In classic stories, hell is madness, and the inability to merge with the beauty and light of the deity, whose role is performed by a spider. Thus, according to Boris Akunin, Dostoevsky is perceived by the Japanese as the quintessence of Russianness, and Russia in turn is associated with Dostoevsky. Japanese interpretations of Fyodor Mikhailovich's works are often very unusual and peculiar. This gives us domestic readers and researchers an opportunity to look from a new, unexpected angle at the images and ideas that have become classic, and their scientific interpretation.